Hello, welcome to Gemstone Tarot weekend reading for the 7th and the 8th of March 2026. Normally when I do that I've got it wrong, so let's see. I'm using a deck that I haven't used for ages. Where have I just flung the box? Fling-a-rooney. It's such a nice deck. I've probably had it for 5 years. I don't know which way that goes, but anywho, it comes in a box like this, and then look, swing. See, you know we were talking the other day about packaging. It's by Dawn Brunk, and how annoying packaging is just the bane of my life. Packaging in call centres and printers. But you know, come on, this is great. Let's have it like this. It's cardboard. It's not plastic, I don't think. Yeah, nice. Anyway, these are the cards. That's the back. And let's see what we need to see. I've got the book with me. I don't have any glasses, which is dangerous, but you know. What I do have is loads of empty cases for glasses, like this one, which is Anna Hickman. I know. Swing. It's a nice case. But alas, at one time it contained some really nice and quite expensive reading glasses. The other thing is door keys. I swear to God, since I've been in this house, which is a long time, I have cut and ordered between me and the boy maybe 50 keys. I know. Honestly, stand there with a metal detector and it will be like some kind of Fantasia moment. All these Yale keys like shing, 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 and give them to me and I'll lose them all and go, oh, okay. The boy's the same. I know, the things you pass on. I don't know if that's a skill. He is more organised than I am, actually. He's a lot more organised. He has a much better sense of direction. Thank God. I mean, boy can read a map, like properly, and know where things are and stuff, you know, without a map. Because I think that's the thing, isn't it? For me, I still can't read a map, but I could work out a sat-nav, you know. I can go in the car, the boy rigged me up a sat-nav with my phone, which I love. Because it's just telling me what to do, and I'm very obedient, so I'm like, yes, I'll do this. But let's say, and this did happen when I was going down to visit the boy at uni, God, it was so bad, that you go to a diversion and the sat-nav didn't know there was going to be a diversion. And at that point you have to think, well, this is to the east and that's to the thingy. At that point I'm like, computer says no, now there is nothing. Now there is nothing, there is no road, there is no world. And I just sort of panic drive and do some sort of very creative, long-winded, terrible loop that involved stopping off at a hotel and desperately trying to ask somebody where I was. And have you ever noticed when you do that, nobody ever knows where you are, even though they live there? Anyway, we've got, I was going to say, this is how discombobulated my brain is in the Mercury retrograde. Leopard. Leopard, nurturer of branches. Now I'm going to assume that's the only thing about this deck that I find difficult, is that the kings and queens and all the rest of it and whatnots are not as they should be. And you know, it's, hang on, let me just find branches. And then also it's there, oh, found it anyway, right. I had absolutely no idea that that was that. So it's the Queen of Wands. And it says here, elements, water, nurturer of fire. That is really interesting because I don't know about you, right? But in my experience, the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups kind of like to show up together. You know, that's what they do. And I've always thought, and I never knew why, because if you look at it in terms of traditional teaching, you'd be like, well, the Queen of Cups, that's the water element, and the Queen of Wands, that's the fire element. But I always knew, like, and this is the way I thought of it, I wouldn't seat these two together at the dinner table because they don't like each other. Not that I have dinner tables, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't let these two sit next to each other on the bus or whatever it is. Not that I go on buses. Anyway, but I've always known that they're kind of slightly joined, like there's a symbiotic relationship. And that sometimes the Queen of Wands comes up in terms of being a water nurturer, and that is weird. So I'm just going to acknowledge fire and water, because we have the Queen of Wands energy. We had it yesterday, I think it was, and we're in a very watery time. So putting those two together, you get a weird steamy mix that I quite like. We also get, and I know damn well what that is. Is that grosbeak? Why is it grosbeak? So this is in reverse, but I want to show it to you because it's so cool. So grosbeak, 3 of feathers. In the reverse. Thank God I took reversals today. We're processing, because the 3 of swords is a dialectic. So like problem, solution, mixture of the two. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Okay, Hegel's dialectic, moving through time. This is a Mercury retrograde in Pisces kind of a reading, so we're going to get weird and cerebral. There is a working out that happens. It's like a kind of, I don't know, it's that, where you're sort of folding thing into something and folding thing into something, and it just evolves. It's like an evolution, and that evolution is doing what happens when you sleep, where your brain is sort of working things out in dreams. And we have, to wit, the sea lion, the 7 of shells. Aren't these cards gorgeous? I mean, come on, they're beautiful, and they're very appropriate for the moment. So 7 of shells, this is the 7 of cups. I know, even I know that is that. I love me a sea lion, and I like this gentle dreaming. This is definitely a time for coming up with, just checking that the camera works still, yes. Coming up with business ideas, coming up with life ideas, you know, making realizations about yourself, all that kind of thing. And it feels like, whereas normally that you would consider this fantasy, fantasy is good at the moment with the current Pisces sort of energy, but also with a Queen of Wands, nurturer of water, nurturer of fire type thing. So it's fantasy with boundaries and a bit of balls. There you go. I might as well just say that in the first place. Then we get, now, XV11 is 17, so I think this is the star. And I think, this is how discombobulated I am. I'm not sure if that was in reverse or not, so I'm going to say it's sideways at the moment. Sideways card. So, the star. That's right, isn't it? Because the devil or towers, I'm going to have to check it now. I'm going to have to check it in case it's the moon. XV11. No matter how many times, yes, I do the tarot, which is many, many, many times, I never, ever, ever remember the numbers for the major arcana. I know, it's like the glyphs for the astrological signs. So what I'm getting for that, you know, the star is like the ultimate kind of North Star. It's a bit wonky. And we were talking about orientation in the beginning. Your orientation is a bit wonky at the moment. I think if you can lean into that, you could, because this is the other thing about having no sense of direction. You meet a lot of interesting people, and you sometimes go to a lot of interesting places that you weren't planning. Then we have the fox, the seer of branches. I think, I'm going to guess at this. It's keeping me on my toes, isn't it? Is it the Page of Wands? Perhaps. I mean, how would you know? Seer. It is. Of course. How do you know? I just know, actually. Right. Seer of branches, Page of Wands. The pilot light is lit. A little bit of passion. You want to nurture that flame. Okay? Don't let it go out. And then again in reverse. And I'm loving that it's in reverse, but I'm going to show it you because it's so bloody gorgeous. Vulture, 10 of feathers, 10 of swords. In the reverse, so we've got three main players in the reverse. The Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Worth a worm. Such a bad worm, isn't it? I know. I'm going to have to try and... Oh, that's like... Again, it's another chopped in half by a spade worm, but it's a worm. And then finally, Donkey. We got Donkey. Five of Fossils, which is the Five of Pentacles, which is Mercury in Taurus. Mercury in Taurus. Which is a kind of, if you think of Taurus, earthy, silent thinking kind of a card. I like this very much. I like this reading very much. It's time to dream, daydream, but not the full North Star dream, dreaming with boundaries and balls. That's probably all I need to say. Check out your monthly readings. They are all out. Do show them some love and give them a hype if you can. That really helps them get into the whole YouTuberverse. And do come and join the Gemstars. Latest video we did was 3 love questions answered. And also watching me make cookies with a blue medical glove on. I know. Each to their own. I'll see you soon. Namaste.